Hello everybody and welcome to another video, and today we're going to be revisiting Ghosts of Atlantis, a band I covered about a month or so ago when I checked out a track of theirs called The Halls of Lemuria, which I really enjoyed. It was a sort of symphonic death metal band. I likened them very much to Meadow's End, which is another band that I really enjoy, and I did cover quite extensively a short while ago. Now, I've been looking forward to this new track because they've released their second track called The Lost Compass. Now, I've actually had this music video on my computer for a good couple of 2 or 3 weeks now, and I've not actually watched it because the track doesn't get released until today, the 4th of December. So I've sort of put off watching it until such times as I can make a video for it and then subsequently release it after the video itself has been released. Unlike with Halls of Lemuria, I do actually have lyrics this time. When I checked out their first track, I was unable to get any lyrics from the band. You know, I'd messaged the band, but they didn't get back to me before I actually made the video. So that was just simply because they were very busy with sort of working out the new release and stuff like that. Because this is the first album, which is going to be released on March 26th. I'll put links below where you can go and pre-order it. There is a special version you can pre-order. I don't know if that's still available because it was very limited numbers. So I don't know if you can still get hold of that one. But I'll put links below where you can pre-order the album if you should be interested in it. But yes, today we're looking at the track called The Lost Compass. I have got lyrics for it this time, as I've said. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm very much looking forward to this because I really enjoyed the first track. And, you know, I've already pre-ordered my copy of the album because I really can't wait to hear it. And so we're going to look at this track now. So I'm waffling on talking about absolute rubbish now, aren't I? So we'll jump into the track now and see what we have. So, The Lost Compass by Ghost of Atlantis. Let's have a look.
Now ingrained in sin.
Well, what can I say? I loved that track. That was amazing. Now, of course, a lot of you know that I tend not to use profanity as much as I can on this channel, but that song was just so good. I mean, it really got me sort of psyched up. It was amazing. I really, really liked that track. It was so good. Jesus. Now, partway through that video, you'll have noticed there was 4 numbers came up on the screen, 3624, and that is actually the name of the album that's coming out, March 26th. I think that's what it is. What those numbers mean, I'm not entirely sure. I'm sure there must be some sort of meaning to it, but as yet, I do not know what that is. But the album is called 3624. Like I said, coming out March 26th. I will put links below to where you can pre-order it, should you wish. But that, I really liked that. And it was very, very different from the first track, because Halls of Lemuria, like I said, it reminded me very much of Meadow's End. There was more in the way of harsh vocals, as far as I remember, whereas this track has got more of the clean vocals, or there might be like an even balance between the harsh and the clean vocals, but the clean balance are very prominent. The clean vocals are very prominent in this track, and it just sounded absolutely amazing. Now, as I understand it, the album coming out is a concept album. Because when I spoke about Halls of Lemuria, I said it sounded like it was part of a bigger story, and again, this seems to be the case here. And with the track being called The Lost Compass, and as you may have seen through the lyrics on screen, it seems to be talking about a sea voyage. And the lyrics, for what it's worth, I mean, they were on screen, but we'll go through them anyway. It says, "Blaspheme, now ingrained in sin, unleashed, fires burn within, wrath. And now the sails are set for dawn, a journey that's unknown to mortal men. To the east across the waves, storms start to show the deity's rage." So, they're talking about, we're about to set off on this voyage, but, a journey that's unknown to mortal men. So they're going into unknown lands, places that have yet to be discovered, undiscovered countries, undiscovered waters, and it says storms start to show the deity's rage. So, there's huge storms breaking out on the sea, on the ocean, but they're going to brave through it anyway, because nothing is going to stop them from finding whatever it is they are searching for. As the waves begin to crash, you can see the weak fall like pawns to the gods of sea, and now the seas decide their fate. Look to the elders to guide them through the strait. And the sun it fades to black, beckoning an age of misanthropy, the age of misanthropy. Passing through the ocean under stars we once foretold, the writing of the elders pass through the evergrey. As we wake from the mist to the echoes of this world, the halls they seem to beckon us, beckons from the throne. Putting rest to the secrets that the elders spoke, the cries to us you sing are falling on deaf ears. Blaspheme, now ingrained in sin, unleash fires, burn within, wrath. So again, they're talking about, as the waves begin to crash, you can see the weak fall like pawns to the gods of the sea. So, the people that don't have the determination that this crew seems to have, they are determined to pass through this storm. They're determined to carry on no matter what the elements, no matter what the gods throw at them. They are determined to carry on to find what it is they're searching for. And other people are trying to do the same sort of thing, and they're just watching them get destroyed and washed away by the storms because they haven't got the determination that this crew seems to have. And it says, "Looked to the elders to guide them through the strait." So maybe this specific group on this specific ship, they've turned to the elders to give them the strength, to give them the fortitude, and to guide them safely through this specific stretch of water that everybody else is struggling through. Um, and there's I don't even know what it means, but I just love that line. The writing of the elders passed through the evergrey. I love the way that line is actually said in the song. It just sounds really, really good. Anyway, where were we? Now thunder is all around, lightning strikes and sails are set to flames. Ships will fade into dusk, pull them down to the depths below, fading into ashes as the gods express their rage. They're just lines in the book as the reader turns the page. Only one will now survive, seeks the truth under desolate skies. And the sun it fades to black, beckoning an age of misanthropy, the age of misanthropy. Passing through the ocean, under stars we once foretold, the writing of the elders pass through the evergrey. As we wake from the mist, the echoes of this world, the halls they seem to beckon our soul. In the web of lies we see them falling, falling like grains of sand. In the web of lies we see them falling like grains of sand. Step out from this veil of lies, out of the darkness into the light. Force back the powers that control the tides. Horizons now beckon as the compass aligns. Navigate through dust, release the titans below. Close your eyes and let go, for the stars they will guide you home. And the sun it fades to black, beckoning an age of misanthropy, the lost compass of truth. Passing through the oceans, under stars we once foretold, the writing of the elders passed through the evergrey. As we wake from the mist to the echoes of this world, the halls they seem to beckons to our soul. So, towards the end of the song, it seems like this ship makes it through the storm. You know, they reach the calmer waters, and you know they're now told, you know, just relax, let go. The stars will guide you the rest of the way to safety, to this destination that you've been seeking. So, like I said, this seems to be part of a much bigger story, and I'm really looking forward to finding out what that story is. You know, I really can't wait to hear the whole album. I can't believe I have to wait until like nearly the end of March to hear this album, because I really, really want to listen to it. I'm really, really excited for it. But like I said, I've already ordered my copy of the album. I specifically ordered that the special fans edition that I said. Like I said, I think it was limited to 100 copies. I'm not sure, but I've pre-ordered that version. I don't know if there's still any versions of that left. Like I said, I will put links to where you can pre-order the album below. Whether or not that version is still available, I don't know. But yeah, I am very much looking forward to when this album comes out, and I'm hoping that in between now and the release of that album, they release another single off the album, because I really, really like this music. You know, Halls of Lemuria I thought was a fantastic track. This track is just absolutely amazing. I really, really liked it. And they may or may not have actually listened to my criticism in the first video, because the first video as well was a lyric video, but I said it was very hard to follow along because a lot of the text and fonts that they used for the lyric video was very, very hard to read, whereas this one, you know, the fonts that they used throughout the text, you know, they've got that one specific font which looks kind of Greek, which is I think that's the same font that they use for the band name. You know, they've used that one throughout, and that one looks good. But there was a specific font in the first video which was very, very hard to read. It made the lyric video hard to read. But this one is a lot more clear, a lot easier to read. So whether or not they actually took my criticism from that first video, I don't know. But you know, it was just great. I don't think I could point out a single flaw with that track. It was just phenomenal. I really, really liked it. Cannot wait to hear more. But like I said, the album 3624 out on March 26th. Links will be put below to where you can pre-order a copy of the album should you so desire it. But I'm going to leave that as it is for the time being. I've been absolutely praising that to high hell, and you know, who can blame me? It was fantastic. But yeah, I'm going to leave that as it is. Now, if anybody would like to suggest a track for me to react to, then please do so. By all means, you could drop a comment in the comment section below, or message me on my Facebook or my Instagram, or you could even message me through my Patreon, where you could also help to support this channel, which would be, of course, a great help to me. There's a link to that below if you should feel the need or desire to do that. There is an option in Patreon, where you can get your suggestion jumped to the front of the queue, should you so desire. There is a limitation on how frequently you can do that, and that's just to be fair to people who suggest tracks through regular means. But the option's there should you wish to take advantage of it. If you suggest tracks through regular means, such as like Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube comments, do know it might take me a while to get around to your suggestion, since I get suggested so many tracks every single day that I can't keep up. I can't record the videos fast enough. But I do write down every suggestion I get, so it'll get done eventually. It just might take me a while to get around to it, I'm afraid. Also, Metalhead Reacts is a proud supporter of the Sophie Lancaster Foundation, a British-based charity whose main goal is to put an end to hate crimes, mainly those aimed towards people of the alternative culture. But of course, they do want to put an end to all hate crimes. And it's something I believe in very, very strongly, because it's something that gets widely ignored. Every single day we hear about all these other hate crimes like sexism, racism, homophobia, transphobia, religious hatred, that sort of, we hear these things on a daily basis. On every media outlet you can possibly imagine. And we hear everything from the most heinous and violent of these crimes, where somebody is brutally murdered because of the colour of their skin, because of their sexual identity or preference, or because of their religion, or what have you, down to the most pathetic of these crimes, where someone is violently attacked, or an entitled white woman is just calling the police because a family of colour are having a picnic in a public space. We hear everything of these all the time, but we never hear anything about these people that are getting brutally attacked just because of the music that they listen to and the clothes that they wear. And this is something that has been going on for decades. It's been going on for since before I was born, essentially. And I'm nearly 41, and I've been dealing with this for most of my life. And it's something that just sort of gets ignored. It sort of gets swept under the rug, and not everybody just pretends it doesn't happen. And that's something that needs to change, because it is a very real problem. Because people are getting violently and brutally attacked just because of their taste in music and their taste in clothing. And we're not talking about simple little things like names and insults being shouted across the street, or getting shoulder rammed as they walk down the street. We're talking about brutal, violent crimes where people are getting severely beaten and brutalised, and they're getting hospitalised with broken bones and sometimes even more life-threatening injuries, just because they have a different taste in music and clothing. And nothing ever gets said or done about it. The last time that anything was really said about this in any sort of big way was 13 years ago, when Sophie Lancaster and her boyfriend Rob Maltby were violently attacked, brutally beaten, to the point where they both ended up in comas. And Rob Maltby, he did thankfully survive this attack. He was in a coma for around about a week, maybe a bit longer. But he managed to survive. Sophie Lancaster, on the other hand, she was in a coma for 13 days before she succumbed to her injuries, and she died. This young woman was 20 years old, and she was beaten to death just because of her taste in music and clothing. And this was all over the news for several weeks, for a few months. And then, it disappeared. And we've not heard a single thing since. But I know for a fact there have been several hundred, if not several thousand more cases like that since that happened. In the last 13 years since that happened, there have been several hundred, if not thousand more cases of this happening, and we've not heard a damn thing about it. And that's because no one's died, and that is unacceptable. We shouldn't have to wait for someone to lose their life before this subject gets spoken about. Only a couple of years ago, a young woman in Glasgow was running a charity gig, and during the night she had to leave the venue where she was hosting the gig and go back to her home, which was a 5-minute walk away. She just had to go to home for something or other and then go back to the venue. On her way from the venue to her home, a 5-minute walk away, she was attacked twice by a group of people who knocked her to the ground, beat her, punched her, kicked her, and basically beat her severely. Similar to what happened to Sophie Lancaster. And they did this twice within the space of 5 minutes. Thankfully, a passing taxi driver put an end to it, but even then he didn't stop to see how she was doing. He just buggered off. She didn't get any help until she returned to the venue to see her friends. Where was this in the news? Why didn't we hear about this? You know, what happened to this young woman could, what happened to Sophie Lancaster could have very easily happened to this young woman. She could have very easily been beaten to death. But thankfully that didn't happen. But we didn't hear anything about it. Why not? It was a violent, brutal crime, and it was a group of people against one young woman. And we didn't hear a word about it. That is not good enough. Just because she is from the alternative part of the alternative culture doesn't make it any less newsworthy. This is a violent crime. This is a hate crime. She was attacked by a group of people who hated what she represented. They hated her because of her taste in music. They hated her because of her clothing. It is a hate crime. But why is this not getting reported in the news? If that taxi driver had not passed, there is every chance that this young woman could have been killed. It is unacceptable that people think this is an okay thing to do. And it's always baffled me, the fact that people get this violent and hostile over the fact that someone likes different music. You don't see people getting beaten to within an inch of their life because they listen to Neil Diamond or opera or classical music. It's only aimed towards people of the alternative culture who listen to heavy metal. Why? What is the trigger point here? It doesn't make sense to me. It never has done. We're not forcing you to listen to the music. If you don't like the clothes we're wearing, don't look at us. It's very, very simple. But none of this is an excuse to attack someone. It's unacceptable. And more attention needs to be brought to the fact that this is happening. Because, by simply ignoring the fact that this is going on, we're letting these people get away with it. We're basically saying, just do whatever you want, beat 10 bales of shite out of them as much as you want. It doesn't matter, because we're not going to do anything. And that's not acceptable. Because it's only a matter of time before another person loses their life over such a stupid reason. We cannot allow what happened to Sophie Lancaster to ever happen again. It's something that never, ever should have happened in the first place. And this is what the Sophie Lancaster Foundation is all about. They want to bring more attention to the fact that this sort of thing is happening. They want to make people more aware of the fact that this sort of thing is going on, so we can put a stop to it, so that we can prevent what happened to Sophie Lancaster from ever happening again. They don't want to see another family go through what they went through when they had to watch their daughter slowly die over the course of 2 weeks. This is something that really needs attention bringing to it. And I think it's very, very important. I've been through it myself. I can't count the amount of times I've been beaten just for the sheer fact that I listen to alternative music. Many of my friends, many of my family, and I know some of you watching, have also been through the similar sort of thing. It needs to stop. We need to put an end to this. So if you'd like to find out more about the Sophie Lancaster Foundation, there is a link to their website in the description below. You can go over there, find out what they're working on at the moment, find out what their main goal is, because they can explain it a lot better than I can. And if you can help them out in any small way, obviously you don't feel obligated to do so, but if you can help them out in any small way, whether it's a small donation through their website or something as simple as one of these Sophie wristbands off their web store, they've got all sorts of cool stuff up there. The smallest amount can make the biggest difference. And the sooner we bring more attention to this, the sooner we get more people talking about this, the sooner we can help to stamp out prejudice, hatred, and intolerance everywhere. But I'm going to leave that as it is for the time being. Thank you all very, very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.